Hey guys, how you doing? This Dragon here. I wanted to share something with you, right? Let's see. Well, I'm a bit of a history, a little bit of a history buff. If you watch my stream, right? So, I want to talk about Ken Masters, and I figured I should be doing something like this, because it creates nostalgia. I enjoy nostalgia, coming from the '80s and all that shit. And well, today I want to talk about Ken Masters because I used to talk about this with my friends, and we all know this. Ken Masters became very popular when Street Fighter came in the '80s, and I think it's mostly, especially in the United States and Japan, and it's mostly because of two people, right? A lot of people may not know, and some people may know Joe Lewis. He was karate champion in the '60s and '70s, right? Including into the '80s, and he made karate slash kickboxing very popular. Your all-American ass kicking kickboxing slash karate guy, and he was the inspiration for Ken Masters. Or I should say, one of the inspiration. Most people also may not know Benny the Jet, right? You see Benny the Jet. If you look him up, well, actually, I'm gonna do it justice here. Benny the Jet is another guy. If you look him up, let me look him up here. And I always thought that was very Benny the great champion in his time. I think he was like a light. Let's read about him, right? If you go to Wikipedia, right? Let's say if this you can see his record, right? He was a non-contact karate competitor who later pioneered full contact fighting in the United States, right? And see him wearing red. And look at his accolade. He was a lightweight, super lightweight, welterweight. His style is American Kempo, Shotokan, like kickboxing, right? So between Benny the Jet and Joe Lewis, right? You can actually read about Joe Lewis yourself if you actually want to read about Joe Lewis. If you go back here, let me see if I type his name properly. Yeah, so there you go. So that's him. He was like the number one guy at that time to inspire Ken Masters. And I've seen some of his old school fights. Awesome shit. The guy was good because he trained under Bruce Lee himself. Or I should say he trained with Bruce Lee. He died 2012, right? So great. And he started as karate guy. Look at his accolades. I believe he was a heavyweight. Look at it, karate. All that stuff, right? And these guys were awesome at that time. They were awesome. Look, karate, kickboxing, boxing, Jeet Kune Do, which he got from Bruce Lee, and Tai Chi. He did all that stuff. So and that's why, if you watch in later version, Ken started to bounce a little bit like Bruce Lee because Joe Lewis. If you watch a lot of his fights later on, especially he says here '60s and '70s, '60s into the '70s, like he moved very fluid for a karate guy. And look at this, it was nicknamed the Muhammad Ali of karate because of how he moved. He did Ken Masters, especially in Street Fighter 6, I think it was one of them, 5 or 6. He moved very well, and Joe Lewis moved very well himself. So I just want to share that with you, a little nerdy, old school stuff. You know what I'm saying? So Ken Masters was inspired by Benny the Jet and Joe Lewis, right? Tell me what you think. Look at him. It's great stuff. They both wore red, so I think it's legit stuff. Very legit stuff.